Just 24 hours after his explosive interview aired here on CBS This Morning, court officers in Chicago arrested him yesterday after a hearing over unpaid child support bills. Authorities say that Kelly will stay in jail until he comes up with more than $161,000 that he owes his 3 children. This morning, in a portion of the interview that you haven't heard, we actually talked to R. Kelly for over 80 minutes. The R&B singer says he has little money left. Your income, it was reported that your income was very high. Hundreds of millions of dollars, we'll say that, because I don't want to get hung up on the semantics.
That's one room I wish that was true.
And yet, when you were in jail last week, the bond was $100,000, and they said R. Kelly couldn't even afford to get himself out of jail, that a friend had to come and bail you out of jail. What is your financial situation, if you don't mind saying?
Here's the deal. So many people have been stealing my money. People was connected to my account. I went by myself for the first time to Bank of America. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what the hell was going on.
When did you do that? First time by yourself?
About 3 weeks ago to a month.
3 weeks ago was the first time you went to Bank of America?
Absolutely.
By yourself?
By myself. Because I was so tired of not knowing where my money was, where my publishing is.
Isn't that on you then?
Huh?
Isn't that on you?
A lot of it's on me.
That you didn't know where your money is?
A lot of it's on me.
And people say he doesn't have money because he had to pay so much in settlements. What do you say about that?
Lie. I admit I've been tempted by drugs. I admit that I just need a hug. I admit the devil talk to me sometimes, but the devil's not who I trust. I've been fucked by so many damn managers. Why they push me out front of these cameras? All this music I done gated them, and now they play me like a fucking amateur. Hell with this record deal, it ain't worth this shit for real. Ain't seen my kids in years. They try and lock me up like Bill.
Did you ever think that this day was gonna come?
I dreamt of this day for 32 years. And I turned 50. It's the best birthday present ever.
An emotional end to what's been a very long road for the women who've come to be known as the Cosby accusers.
You are a sinful and disgusting human being, and until your death, you deserve every bit of suffering that jail time and prison might bring to you.
Mr. Cosby, any comments, sir?
The comedian, once known as America's Dad, Bill Cosby, taken into custody today after being sentenced to 3 to 10 years in total confinement in either county jail or state prison. It's the conclusion to the jury's decision back in April that found him guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting former Temple University employee Andrea Constand in 2004. 81-year-old Cosby now classified as a sexually violent predator.
The fact that he was deemed a violent sexual predator here means not only is he going to have to be treated differently while in prison, but when he gets out, if he gets out, he's going to have to register wherever he lives for the rest of his life.
They took my gift and they blind me. Where in the fuck is my money? Now here come this big ass conspiracy. I still got my fans, that's a blessing. Listen to heaven, just stay on my grind, and that's 24/7. And I know my mama Joanne is smiling down on me. I put that on Reverend.
The Cosby accusations would help ignite the hashtag #MeToo movement. More than 60 women have accused the entertainer of sexual misconduct, dozens of them filling the cover of New York Magazine in 2015. Cosby has insisted any sexual encounters with Constand and other accusers were consensual. He plans to appeal his conviction. Today, his publicist staunchly defending his client.
This has been the most racist and sexist trial in the history of the United States.
Even though Cosby was given the chance to have the final word in court prior to sentencing, he chose to remain silent.
I admit that the devil is busy, and some people beside me ain't with me. I admit that I'm gonna do this music up until the Lord come get me.
Bill Cosby took my beautiful, healthy young spirit and crushed it, she wrote. His wife of 54 years, Camille Cosby, not present in court today, but claiming the DA used falsified evidence against her husband, writing in a statement, "We have now learned and will prove that Bill Cosby was denied his right to a fair trial."
He's going to have to serve at least 3 years in prison, not a day less.
Now now here I am and I'm trying my best to be honest. Cause there's forces out there trying to keep me from being an artist. I admit I'm at rock bottom, and this shit has rocked my mind. I'm calling on my hood, come walk by my side. They don't want me to shine. Women's group, my God. Now don't get it twisted, I do support them, but why they wanna bring down the art? Damn, this is breaking my heart. Cause from fathers, mothers, sons and daughters, I'm a part of the music culture.
It is the ultimate fall from grace for the comedian once known for his wholesome image. We knew him for his comedy, his shows, and of course, the Jell-O.
You know how the kids love Jell-O pudding.
He was a cultural trailblazer. In 1965, Cosby broke through as the first black actor to star in a lead role in a network show, I Spy.
You should hold like this at the theater.
And in the 1980s, who could forget The Cosby Show? It would be the most watched show of the entire decade.
He made people, especially in the African American community, feel that the depiction of a dad who was a doctor, who was married to a wife who was very accomplished and who he loved, depicted something about themselves.
Cosby's lawyers are appealing his sentence, citing 11 alleged errors by the trial judge. That appeal could be filed within the next 30 days. Joining me now, criminal defense attorney Enrique L1 Latoyson. Latoyson has his own practice, Latoyson Law in Media, Delaware County. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Also joining us, attorney Allison Borgatti. She's a former Philadelphia assistant district attorney who's now an associate with Archer and Griner in Center City. Her focus, white-collar defense, criminal defense, and corruption. Thank you, Allison.
Thanks for having me.
So first, let's talk about what we heard from Andrew Wyatt, who sat down with my colleague Aaron Coleman, and also a message that Bill Cosby gave through Andrew Wyatt to Aaron Coleman. He is insistent. He is not guilty. He's not remorseful. And you heard from Andrew Wyatt just a moment ago that maybe women are lying in this case. Enrique, your thoughts?
Well, we know that Bill Cosby's defense has been very consistent from day one. He's always said he didn't do it. He's never asked for any kind of remorse. He's never asked for any kind of leniency. And, the defense they chose from day one was that the women are lying. And when you stick with that defense, they used it in Cosby 1, they used it in trial number 2, Cosby 2. And he was hung jury number 1, and that seemed to have worked out. And of course, 2, he was found guilty. And he's still sticking with that.
The same stories over and over and over again. Off my name, you done went and made yourself a career. Well, guess what? I pray for you and your family and all my other enemies. I'm not gonna let y'all steal my joy. I'm just gonna keep on doing me. Now I don't know what else to say except I'm so falsely accused. Tell me, how can you judge when you never walked in my shoes? So easy to mess up someone else's life through social media, the devil in disguise.
As he promoted a nonprofit organization, he was defiant in the face of the women's claims and the effect they might have on his legacy.
Are you concerned at all that, given the allegations, that may overshadow your message?
It's interesting. This is a situation that's unprecedented. My family, my friends, I have been in this business 52 years, and I've never seen anything like this.
I admit that I've told the truth, and I'm still not free. Still won't hate me. They still won't stone me. Still won't chain me. Think they won't kill me. The only thing I have left is my voice, and now I have to use it for my protection because they left me no choice.
And reality is the situation, and I can't speak.
And it's not that it's just about the money, but it's about justice and fairness. And when people say that they love you and they respect you, but at the same time take, 80% of your earnings, then expect you to fix your own communities, and they'll probably edit all of this out, but then it gets, that's the sharp part of the sword, and we're at the wrong end of it right now. So eventually, with courageous people going out there and actually saying something and standing up for it, I think we'll get some balance.
The same day they killed Prince. They killed Prince on the plane. And that plane is owned by Warren Buffett. And so those are the games they play, man.
What I want people accountable for it. You know what I mean? This is all about my image. This has nothing to do with me. This is all about my image. It's like MTV, all the papers, they building me up. Now they destroying me on the same image that they perpetuated. You know what I'm saying? I'm selling records. This is what I do for a living. I'm selling records. Don't get it twisted. This is not my real life. This is not how my real life is supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be really having all these villains in my life. I'm not supposed to be having, you know, the Philadelphia, I can't do shows. Everybody's already, I'm guilty. It doesn't matter if you mainstream, hardcore rap, or R&B, it doesn't matter what, we can all be in the same position at any given time. And they show it to us at every instance. They show you that they will snatch you up out of your career, out of your good life, and put you on court and make you fight for your life.
You're maintaining your innocence.
I'm maintaining my innocence because I'm loud. I didn't shut up. But I didn't think they was going to take it this serious. Me keep talking out, I didn't think it was going to be a matter of life and death. I thought, well, I won't be super...
I knew something terrible would happen at the end, not to mention the fact that Michael constantly told me, Latoya, if I die, they're going to murder me, they're going to kill me. He would tell me that, Barbara, and that's when Michael passed. When I found out he had actually passed, I said, no, it wasn't an accident. He was murdered.
Your brother was murdered.
I always believed that from day one. I said, I'm not going to accept anything else, Barbara. They could have told me a heart attack. They could have told me he had fallen off a ladder, and I would have said, no, it's not a heart attack. He was murdered.
Her dad was murdered. That's the sensational claim being made by Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris, who tells Rolling Stone magazine her father would drop hints about people being out to get him, and at some point he was like, they're gonna kill me one day. The magazine says 18-year-old Paris is convinced that her dad was somehow murdered. Absolutely, she says, because it's obvious. All arrows point to that. It sounds like a total conspiracy theory, but all real fans and everybody in the family knows it. It was a setup.
How do you think he died? You've been quoted as saying you believe it may have been murder. Do you still think that?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely.
Why are you so sure?
I would never, ever think differently. Because first of all, Michael told me that they were going to murder him. He was afraid. He was afraid for his life. Who was going to murder him? The people that were involved in his life, the people that were controlling him. This book, Starting Over, is about my life. And it's about Michael's life. It's the parallel between the two of our lives. We share that same life where people come into your life, wiggle their way in, control you, manipulate, control your funds, your finances, everything that you have, and you must do what they tell you to do. And that's what Michael was going through. And he knew that everything that was happening to him was not kosher, it wasn't right, and it disturbed him greatly. And he kept saying it over and over and over again. Yes, Dr. Murray was the fall guy, but it's more to it than just that. He named names. He told me people. He told me to be careful of this one and that one. And in the beginning, I didn't, it's not that I didn't believe him.
Who were the people that he was saying?
People that surrounded themselves around him. People that worked with him. People that were with him the last days.
Any specific names?
Michael wasn't capable of doing these shows that he was supposed to do. Michael only agreed to do 10, and it's because they had him on such a tight rope.
Important because throughout the years, Black artists have been taken advantage of.
completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible, incredible injustice. And like Mrs. Sharpton was saying, people from James Brown to Sammy Davis Jr., some of the real pioneers that that inspired me to be the entertainer that I am. These artists are always on tour because if they stopped touring, they would totally go broken. And it's been, the record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Sony Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
The thing that is most discussed about you, I think, is the fact that the color of your skin is obviously different than it was when you were younger.
Yeah.
And so I think it has caused a great deal of speculation and controversy as to what you have done or are doing. Are you bleaching your skin? And is your skin lighter because you don't like being black?
One, this is the situation. I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help, okay? But when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me. So it's a problem for me, okay? I can't control it, okay?
When did the color of your skin start to change?
Oh boy, sometime after Thriller, around Off the Wall Thriller, sometime
and what did you think? I mean,
it's in my family. My father said it's on his side. I can't control it. I don't understand. I mean, it makes me very sad. I don't want to go into my medical history because that's something that's private, but that's the situation here. So please, when people see something like that...
I just want to get this straight.
Yeah.
You are not taking anything to change the color of your skin?
Oh, God, no.
You did not purposely?
We're trying to control it, and using makeup evens it out because it makes blotches on the skin, and I have to even out my skin.
Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kill me, don't you black or white me. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
In the wake of HBO's shocking new documentary on Michael Jackson, some radio stations are now pulling the plug on the King of Pop. Stations in New Zealand and Canada have said they will not play any of his music. The film brought to light some new accusations of child molestation at Jackson's Neverland Ranch in California. It focuses on two men who go into graphic detail about the abuse they say they suffered from Jackson back in the 1990s.
What is your response to the allegations that were brought by the district attorney in Santa Barbara that you molested this boy?
Totally false. Before I would hurt a child, I would slit my wrists. I would never hurt a child. These are totally false. I was outraged. I could never do something like that.
They made and created so much joy for the world. And the system, meaning the record companies, totally took advantage of it. But this is very important, what we're fighting for. Because I'm tired, I'm really, really tired of the manipulation. I'm tired of how the press is manipulating everything that's been happening in this situation. They do not tell the truth. They're liars. And they manipulate our history books. The history books are not true. It's a lie. That's right, Michael. The history books are lying. You need to know that. You must know that. All the forms of popular music, from jazz to hip-hop to bebop to soul, you know, to you talk about the different dances, from the cakewalk to the jitterbug to the Charleston to break dancing. All these are forms of black dancing. The minute it became the all-time best-selling albums in history in the Guinness Book of World Records, overnight They called me a freak. They called me a homosexual. They called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They made everything to turn the public against me. This was all complete conspiracy. You have to know that. You know, it's time. I love you more. It's time for a change. And let's not leave this building and forget what has been said. Put it into your heart. Put it into your subconscious mind. And let's do something about it. We have to. We have to. Because it's been a long, long time coming. And a change has got to come. So let's hold our torches high and get the respect that we deserve. I love you. Don't put this in your heart today and forget it tomorrow. Because we will have not accomplished our purpose. We will have not accomplished our purpose if that happens. This has got to stop. It's got to stop.